Hello everyone, this is the Great Riek, aka that streamer who likes to believe he makes scripted videos, despite my last one literally being... well, shit, that was 4 months ago. Though, this is not the full version of that FE4 video. Rather, I'm here to tell you about why Fire Emblem 4 Genealogy of the Holy War is the best game for Ironmanning. Now, you must be saying, surely this is some sort of twisted joke, right? Like I'm gonna pull a... and tell you all why you should never Ironman this game, or some sort of puffing smoke like it was a spirit dust. Good stuff, by the way. I know from experience. But nah, I'm 100% serious. I had been doing an Ironman a few months ago for this game, and after finishing it, it made me realize that low unit games are the best games to do Ironman runs with. You see, in a game like Genealogy of the Holy War, each unit serves a purpose that, much like a puzzle game, they're integral to solving said puzzle and making it through each map. In a true Ironman, you have to keep going no matter what unit dies, and will keep playing until your main lord is dead or you win. With other Fire Emblem games, you have plenty of units that fill the role of a unit that you let die, thus making it easier to have a backup unit. That is not the case in Genealogy. In Genealogy, you have only those specific units and nothing else. If, say, Midir dies, you won't get another Gen 1 Bow Knight that does his job of doubling enemies and weakening them for another unit to take care of, since Midir at base can usually double all enemies, but cannot kill it even if you get him the best weapon you can equip him with in the early game, the Steel Bow, unless it is a Pegasus. I say the Steel Bow because in this game, weapon ranks are also locked to the unit, and with that Midir has B-rank bows, making Steel Bow his best weapon. Now, you could bring up his counterpart Jamka, who, while footlocked, has higher weapon ranks and bases in general, as well as a powerful killer bow. But you see, Jamka will never really weaken units, and is more than likely will kill them than spare given his skill set, and with the fact that his bow gives him the skill critical. Now, while killing stuff is good, you also have to consider you have other units in your roster, ones that need to be able to keep up. So while Jamka kills everything in sight usually, Midir will allow you to leave an enemy that is probably a good source of kill EXP for one of your units that will probably usually be behind, like say Noish, whom while he has the critical skill, doesn't have the stats to proc it that often, nor does he have the weapon to. Nor does Noish have Pursuit to double attack, unlike Midir. Actually, that is another thing I should bring up, the counterbalance between units of similar types. You see, there are usually some very distinct differences between units that are of the same class or class type that join your army, and that is the difference between raw power and their skills. Let's take, for example, Azel, Loon, and Tatu. With Azel, he is an amazing early game mage, since he has a few things going for him. Pursuit in the fact that he is able to not be slowed down too much by his magic, and enemies having low res, and also most enemies are axe units who, even if they match his regular speed, will still be doubled since he will have 8 more attack speed by default. He also has Pursuit and upon promotion a horse, something that people somewhat both rightfully value and overvalue, but I will get to that later. Another thing he has going for him, he is the only other unit that can cleanly one-round enemies in the prologue who's not named Sigurd, and can do so reliably, unlike Quad, who needs to proc Adept double. You see, while he has those things, he has a low magic growth, and compared to his allies will be the lowest damage dealer later on, as his magic will be shit in comparison to the next mage, Lewin. Speaking of Lewin, he mainly focuses on what is considered the best magic type in the game, that being wind magic. Wind magic has 2 weight and as such will almost never slow him down, unlike other magics he could use such as light magic or fire magic. He also has an amazing speed growth and will become a very fast boy. The biggest caveat, however, he is locked to having the Adept skill instead of Pursuit. You see, unlike Pursuit, Adept is only a percentile chance to activate to allow him to do a second attack, and while he has a pretty high chance of getting that to activate, it is just that, a chance, and even when he has his most coveted tome, the 4th Seti, which will give him plus 20 speed, that is still with maxed out speed a 65% chance he will proc it. A pretty high chance, yes, but it is still possible to not get that to happen, same with his critical skill. Great stuff, but not guaranteed, unlike usually Azel's fire spells. Then there's Tatu, who is just pure damage and power. She has lowest HP, but she makes up for it by having a decent weapon type and thunder spells, and with that having a powerful skill known as Wrath, which when under half HP, her attacks will always critical when they land. Even upon promotion, she stays on foot, and with that we'll get Adept, which we already discussed with Lewin. But she's also still going to be, in the end, more powerful than Azel, despite not being able to reliably double. That is the same with mini-units who are similar but fill different niches. But I won't go into all of them because that wastes time. But what I will say is that you lose one of these units, you lose the niche they have, and the valuable puzzle piece they bring to the table. We also need to talk about another thing, that being the biggest factor of FE4, movement. As you know, there is a specific phrase that is spread throughout the community, that being, movement is king. But that is not an entirely correct phrase. Rather, the phrase should be how you use movement is king. You see, many, how do I put this kindly, okay, fucking morons use that statement to underestimate the actual usage of a foot unit. You see, most people when they see a large as fuck map will see units in just two pure categories. Has a horse and is therefore useful, with the other being has no horse and therefore useless. But that's not how FE4 works at all. In FE4, your foot units usually are not meant to go in the same place as the horse units. Examples are Chapter 2 and Chapter 4. With those chapters, you have your army split into two forces. Horse units with Chapter 2 will usually go from Erheim to Anthony Sands, maybe Arden if you want his pursuit ring, or if you want to try to get Lotch that Paragon ring, since they can get to the castle and deal with the brigands and get to Beowulf quicker. Meanwhile, you keep your foot units on the other side to deal with Mackley Castle and the fucking Sleepstaff asshole there. In fact, and this is a bit of a tangent, but a lot of early game FEs had a fair amount of divide and conquer strats. For example, in FE1 from Chapter 2 onward, most maps had you divide your units to go and take care of enemies coming from different sides. Same with FE3 and especially FE4. Oh, and Chapter 2 of FE5. Always the second chapter or so. Meanwhile in Gaiden you had Saber and Conquer. Well, 4 out of 5 ain't bad. Either way, that is how FE4 best uses your movement, having you constantly divide and conquer to get your goal done. And with the longer goals, having cavalry go there helps, while shorter goals it's best for the infantry. If you try to make the infantry go for the castles that take longer to reach, of course they will fall behind, because their purpose is to help you not waste turns by having said foot units wait and be able to get to clearing that area and defend your castle from being attacked as a result. But now there are just two more things I must talk about, with the first being Gen 2. You know how I said earlier that all characters are kind of like puzzle pieces, and when they die you lose a piece that helps you solve the puzzle, though you still can solve it? Throw that out the goddamn window, because in Gen 2 there are these things called child units, and with child units you are sure to say fuck it and juggernaut it. I say this because almost any combination of pairings is possible, but one of the best to say fuck it is with Lewin and Telchu, for the fact that Arthur is able to instantly get one of the most powerful weapons in the game, Forseti, and while he's not able to get Pursuit without the Pursuit ring, you will be able to instead have a plus 20 speed, and with that Adept, that makes the already low 5 weight negated. With a 26 starting speed with Forseti, he now has a 46 chance to always attack again, and with the 110% speed growth, you damn well know he's going to have that speed capped quickly enough, which will make him have 42 speed. That is more than enough to make him pretty much unstoppable, not to mention that its avoid will be guaranteed to go past 100. With child units, you're able to make them as broken as you want, and with that you can dominate the game with said combinations. That isn't to say they don't need to be trained at all, and with an Ironman you may end up doing a substitute run, which means no OP children. But then there comes an issue when the unit you birthed into godhood dies. You just lost all that time you spent investing in them, and all the stuff you gave them is gone. Unlike a Gen 1 unit, you lose these units that were made special to your preference, given a special kind of love and attention. One you can't get back if you lose, unless... I bring you to my final point, and why Genealogy is truly the best game to Ironman, the Valkyria staff. Much like the first 3 games, Genealogy gives you the ability to revive a unit, or in this case, multiple units. To put into perspective, in Fire Emblem Genealogy you have 3 shrines that at each shrine you can revive 3 units, making a total of 9 revivals. Now imagine you had the ability to revive as many people as you want if you had the money. That is the Valkyria staff. It has one use and can be only used in the main castle, but it can be repaired at the high cost of 30,000 gold. The downside is that villages at full will only give 5,000, and unless you have a thief that stays alive that will give your Valkyria staff user all their money to repair it, you will not have the funds to do so. However, you now have to consider this. If you can revive them, will they still be useful, and is it smart to revive them? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. That is something only you and you yourself can decide. Yet, because of the lenience of the Valkyria, you are able to save yourself a lot of worry. But you may be asking one more thing. Doesn't it make death not matter? That is incorrect. I say that because, again, that cost and consideration of who to revive, and that user can still be killed, and you will be out of any items they have, and all the gold you put into them. Yet while you have this staff, it makes it the least punishing game, which for an Ironman is one of the best things you can ask for without a game shoving unit after unit into your roster for fodder as a cheap excuse, which to me is the markings of a game that is perfect for the Ironman playstyle. Alright, thank you guys for watching the video. Sorry that took so long to come out. I kind of lost motivation to make videos for a while. I was pretty much, like, with everything that's went on, like, I started working hard, started pretty much just losing interest in doing actual full-on videos. Like, I was working on the Fire Emblem 4 retrospective video, which I know has been a year coming for, like, an audience that barely knows what the fuck I'm talking about now, because all they know me for is my streaming and pretty much all that. But yeah, I got caught up trying to be insane with my editing, and I was just like, you know what? I can't do this. I lost motivation. Then a friend of mine said that I shouldn't try to do that much insane editing. I should just do my own thing. I should just enjoy myself. I should just, you know, be myself. And so I still didn't have the motivation until about 2 weeks ago I got let go of from my job, which honestly made me super happy. But I just wanted to take this time to thank all the people that have been super supportive of me. The people that, you know, would recommend subs to me, would let me link my channel, had me on their channel, all that stuff. So I'm going to take this moment to give appreciation to the following people. Thank you to Swordsmaster, thank you to Majin Matt, thank you to Fire Emblem Discussion, thank you to frickin' to Goose from behind the scenes. Honestly, and thank you to the Omniblade, who let me link in his stream my channel, because I know that he sometimes watches me, even though I poke fun at him sometimes. I just hope you know that's all in good jest, my guy. If you're watching this, that's all in good jest. Yeah, I said Goosephone. People that I talked to that actively encouraged me, like Gast, Zerk. Honestly, I just want to thank all of you. And those I didn't mention, like my mod team on my server, I just want to say thank you guys. More scripted content is coming out soon, and I'm just going to get it out as best I can. I'm looking for a new job. I'm gonna see about actually setting up donations on my like streams, so that you guys can donate. But I'm also doing the job hunt. So if my content does slow down a bit, my schedule start changing, I'll let you guys know. Oh, also, because I already said thanks to her, but big thanks for the thumbnail to Swordsmaster. I commissioned them for it, and I am so happy with what they've done. Like, I really hope that, yeah, go check out her channel. Go check out, like, all the people I mentioned's channel, like Majin Matt, all them. Oh yeah, and another person I want to thank real quick is Dell. Thank you, Dell, for being such a great co-host on my streams and all that. But anyway, because I don't want to keep this long-winded like the video I made earlier today, this has been The Great Riek. Thank you guys, and have a good night.